Welcome to Daily English Stories. Every story hides a world. Some inspire, some haunt, some stay forever. Chapter 1. Cracks Beneath the Smile. To everyone around her, Mia looked like the kind of girl who had it all together. She laughed at the right moments, answered questions in class with confidence, and posted bright pictures on social media with captions full of sunshine. Her friends often said, "You're always so happy, Mia. I wish I had your life." But behind the closed door of her room, Mia felt like she was slowly unraveling. Every morning she put on her smile like a carefully chosen outfit. She curled her hair, applied a little lip gloss, and looked in the mirror, practicing the bright expression she would show the world. It was easier that way. No questions, no worried looks. Just a girl who seemed fine. Inside, though, she carried a heaviness she couldn't explain. At night, when the house grew quiet, she would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing with thoughts she didn't want to think. Memories of arguments at home, words that had cut too deep, friendships that faded without warning. Each one lived in her like an unhealed wound. But in the daylight she buried them beneath layers of jokes and small talk. Her friends would invite her out, and she would go, laughing over coffee, nodding along as they talked about crushes and weekend plans. No one noticed how often her gaze drifted away, or how tightly she gripped her cup just to feel something steady in her hands. When someone asked, "Are you okay?" she always answers quickly, "Of course. Why wouldn't I be?" But when she walked home alone, the mask would slip, her shoulders would sag, her steps slow down. She passed by windows glowing with warm light, families laughing over dinner, and wondered why her own heart felt so far from that warmth. At school, her teachers praised her for always turning in assignments on time, but they didn't see the late nights she spent crying quietly before forcing herself back to work. Her classmates admired her bright energy, but they didn't see the dark thoughts she scribbled in her journal, words she could never say out loud. There were moments when she wanted to tell someone. She would sit across from her best friend, feeling the words press against her lips. "I'm not okay. I feel like I'm falling apart inside." But then her friend would start talking about something funny, and Mia would laugh along, pushing the words back down. She told herself she had no reason to feel this way. Her life wasn't tragic. She had a home, a school, people who liked her, and yet every night as she sat by the window watching the city lights blur through her tears, she felt like a hollow version of herself, pretending to be whole. No one noticed the cracks, they only saw the smile. And so, Mia carried her pain quietly, hiding it in plain sight, unsure if anyone would ever look past the brightness to see the girl inside, broken but desperately hoping someone might care enough to see. Chapter 2. Falling Apart. It happened on a day that seemed ordinary at first. The sky was clear, the air carried the soft scent of jasmine from the neighbor's garden, and Mia went through her usual routine: school, polite smiles, quick jokes with friends. But inside, she felt the weight growing heavier, like she was carrying invisible stones that no one else could see. That evening, she came home to raised voices. Her parents were arguing again, their words sharp and cutting, bouncing off the walls of their small apartment. She froze by the door, her heart pounding. It wasn't the first time, but tonight the sound felt unbearable. Each word another crack in the fragile wall she had built around her heart. "Mia, why can't you do anything right?" her mother snapped when Mia accidentally dropped her bag in the hallway. I didn't mean to," Mia whispered. But her voice was drowned out by the storm of anger that followed. She ran to her room, shutting the door, pressing her back against it as if she could keep the world out. But the words followed her, echoing in her mind, mixing with all the other unspoken pains she had been hiding. She sat on the edge of her bed, clutching a pillow, feeling her chest tighten with each shaky breath. And then her phone buzzed, a message from her best friend. "Sorry, can't hang out anymore. Things have changed. Let's take a break." Just one line, but it hit her like a final blow. She stared at the screen, the words blurring as tears filled her eyes. She wanted to reply, to ask why, to beg for an explanation, but her fingers wouldn't move. In that moment, the mask she wore every day shattered. The carefully practiced smile, the rehearsed, "I'm fine," the silent strength. It all crumbled, leaving her exposed and raw. Mia buried her face in her hands, and for the first time, she didn't try to stop the sobs. They came in waves, breaking through the dam she had built for so long. The room felt small, the air heavy. She slid to the floor, her knees pulled to her chest, her tears soaking into the sleeves of her sweater. Every thought she had avoided came rushing in. "I'm not enough. I can't handle this. Nobody sees me. Nobody cares." She looked around her room, the photos on the wall of smiling faces, the books she loved, the journal half filled with secrets, and felt a deep ache. How could a life that looked so normal from the outside feel so unbearable inside? The hours passed, but Mia didn't notice. The sun set, the room darkened, and still she sat there, crying quietly, her body trembling with each breath. She felt completely broken, as if the pieces of her heart were scattered across the floor, too many to ever gather again. And yet somewhere deep inside, hidden beneath the pain, there was a tiny spark, a fragile part of her that longed for comfort, for healing, for someone to see beyond the cracks. But for now all she could do was cry, letting the pain spill out, hoping that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the end. Chapter 3. Finding Strength. Again. The morning after that long night, Mia woke with swollen eyes and a heavy heart. She sat up slowly, the quiet hum of the world outside, pressing against the silence of her room. For a while she just sat there, staring at the faint light slipping through the curtains. A part of her wanted to hide forever, but another part, a fragile whispering voice, said, "Get up. Just try again." So she did. Mia opened her window, letting the cool morning breeze wash over her face. She breathed in deeply, feeling the fresh air fill her lungs. It didn't erase the pain, but it gave her something new, a sense that life was still moving, still offering chances she hadn't yet taken. That day at school she didn't talk much, but when a classmate dropped their books in the hallway, she knelt to help gather them. The boy smiled softly, saying, "Thank you," and for a second, Mia felt lighter. That simple act of kindness, so small, so ordinary, made her feel connected again, as if a tiny thread was stitching her back together. Later during lunch, her art teacher noticed her sitting alone. "Mia," she said gently, "I saw your sketches last week. You have a gift. Why don't you join the art club after class?" Mia hesitated, her heart racing. She almost said no, almost shrank back into her shell, but something inside urged her forward. "Okay," she whispered. That afternoon, surrounded by brushes, colors, and soft chatter, Mia felt something she hadn't felt in a long time: peace. She let her emotions flow onto the canvas, the pain, the confusion, the quiet hopes she still carried. With every stroke, she felt pieces of herself falling into place. Not perfectly, but enough to make her feel human again. At home, things didn't change overnight. Her parents still argued sometimes, and her phone stayed silent, where her friends' messages used to be. But Mia started doing little things for herself: tidying her room, writing in her journal every night, taking short walks to watch the sunset. She wasn't pretending anymore. When her mother asked one evening, "Are you okay?" Mia didn't lie. She said softly, "Not completely, but I'm trying." And for the first time, her mother really listened. Days turned into weeks. The sadness didn't vanish, but it became easier to carry. Mia realized that healing wasn't about forgetting the pain, but about learning to live with it and grow beyond it. One evening, she stood in front of her mirror, studying her own reflection. Her eyes still carried a shadow of what she had been through, but there was something new, too: a quiet strength, a softer kind of smile. She whispered to herself, "I'm not the same girl I was before. I'm stronger now. I'm still broken in places, but that's okay. Broken things can be beautiful, too." As she turned off the light and lay down to sleep, she no longer felt alone in her struggle. She felt the faint glow of hope, like a candle in the dark, promising that tomorrow could be better, and that even after breaking, a heart can learn to love life again.